method of dealing with youngsters amongst teachers, but children from, you know, I guess the working class and some of the ethnic minority backgrounds don't understand the rhetorical question, but teachers go on asking it. Would you do that in your own home? Why are you talking about my home? Don't talk about my home. But a middle-class child from a similar background as a teacher would go, again, sorry sir, I realise I've done something wrong, plays the right game, says the right things, and therefore gets on better in class with the teacher and gets recognised for the things that they do well.
Robert Clack School in Dagenham believes an understanding of class is fundamental to the education of its predominantly white working class intake. It's seen a dramatic improvement. GCSE A to C's up from 16 to 78% over 10 years.
How's your coat? Do you like it? You like that coat, don't you? Come on, get it sorted. Get that coat off, come on. You know that, all right? Okay. Yeah. Can you get that coat?
Its Liverpudlian head teacher is fiercely proud of his roots and actively encourages his pupils to be proud of theirs.
Because I come from a working class background and from a challenging background, it's easy for me, it's natural for me to connect with people because I can talk about difficult circumstances, and it's not a script, it's not an act, it's me, it's my life. Certainly in the early days of my headship, when there was a furore about me introducing discipline into the school and a code of behaviour and everybody was screaming and ranting and raving, many of those difficult conversations were spent with me listening and then with me connecting through my own background and beliefs.
Do you think a strong middle-class head could do what he's done?
I think it'd be much more difficult, because I think you have to understand the community, you have to understand the nature of class segmentation in this country and the way that a lid is put on aspiration, a lid is put on the assumptions about what you can achieve.
Shall we have a look at this lesson?
Let's say tomorrow's lesson we're going to look in great detail, okay, at the alveoli.
Mr. Smith, of course, is a Robert Clack pupil, and he was in year 9 when I became head. And it's a very, very proud time for me to see so many of these young people who were part of our re-emergence come back as teachers. He's got a first-class degree in science, he went to Imperial, he's come back, the children are connecting with him, and in his second year of teaching, he's already emerging as a great man.
After that, we're going to look.
Many of our minority ethnic groups, not all, as time goes on and they work through the system, they begin to improve. And when we talk about social mobility, we've got more families from minority ethnic groups who will become upwardly mobile. It's not true of white working class, and that's another issue.
At Robert Clack, social mobility is alive and well. 10 former students are now back teaching.
We are examples of people who have been brought up in Dagenham, came to this school and have been successful. We're not trying to change or hide where we come from. We're proud to come from Dagenham, we're proud to work in Dagenham, and that's important to our young people because lots of them perhaps don't believe truly that they can go on to be successful. I think that's changing over time. I used to work at Sainsbury's while I was in the sixth form at this school and while I was at university studying for my economics degree. I could have continued working in Sainsbury's as a career. You've got to prove to our young people that you're working with them, you're not against them, you're not trying to catch them out, you are genuinely in it because you want those young people to be successful.
Do shelf fillers get promotion prospects? I thought
they probably have got promotion prospects. Where I used to work, in the bakery, I was like the equivalent of a shelf filler, but I had someone who supervised me. You have to work hard and a long time, true.
Just to get promoted.
So what would you say then? That there might be promotion prospects, but
very unlikely, and it takes a long time.
Well, it's not unlikely, but it takes a long time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
When I've said I've come from Robert Clack, they're saying, why do you come back to the school?
I do talk about, if it wasn't for this school with the good teachers driving me through, then I probably wouldn't be here. And I want to come back and do the same.
So don't add any more moves in unless they're developing those four.
I think they pick up on your accent as well, because we speak quite similar to the pupils themselves. And they see that we're not trying to change. We're not ashamed of coming from Dagenham. We're not ashamed of coming back and working here. And we're not trying to change ourselves.
No, yeah.
And sort of give them a push that they can see that they can achieve just as much as us if they put their mind to it.
The 1902 Education Act ruled out use of local dialects. You know, this is a huge, great big area worthy of years and years and years of study. There was a report commissioned, and this is me being London-centric, which said kids from Derbyshire, Lincolnshire or Yorkshire, they lose something when they're forced to leave their dialects at home. But, and this is a direct quote from the report, there is no London dialect of reputable antecedent and origin which is a heritage for him to surrender in school. The Cockney mode of speech with its unpleasant twang is a modern corruption with legitimate credentials and is unworthy of being the speech of any person in the capital city of the empire. There are no working class voices reading the news. Done something about the ethnicity, there are black faces, there are Asian faces, all of whom speak in crystal clear receive pronunciation. Hugh Edwards, which everyone, the BBC points to, yes, we've got Hugh Edwards. Hugh Edwards is Welsh. Being Welsh doesn't automatically mean that you're working class. The working class parent does know that education is important, but they don't know how to involve themselves in it. They don't have the confidence to challenge appropriately when kids are under-attaining.
I met 300, 400 parents in very difficult situations where I short-term excluded their child. I had to promise, that's the key with white working class people. That's different. I had to promise that things would be better, because part of their mentality is, we've heard it all before. We've had people coming into our neck of the woods before, telling us this, telling us that, and where's it got us? Where's it got us? People taking fat pensions, time serving, pretend to others they're saying they've given loyal service, but to them they've been time servers who've actually extracted a big fat pension out of them. And they were wise to that, they told me, and they weren't going to have that from me.
I mean, he's seen as an extraordinary figure in our community. He's seen as actually a bit of a hero, actually. But he is seen as a sort of talismanic personality around. Everyone knows of Paul. He's had a bit of a tough time. He's had to confront some of the parents, and it can get a bit lively and it can get quite confrontational, but he hasn't taken a step back, and people around know and understand and respect that. I mean, he gives as good as he gets, and he understands the psychology of the community, because he understands the psychology of working class communities.
And I've made it clear to the staff early on, and the staff they've taken their responsibilities very seriously, that, you know, I fed back to them what parents were saying to me about what they felt was wrong. You know, and I said, we've got to be honest with each other here. I'm going to stick my neck out, push the boat out in terms of behaviour, which you're all asking for, but our strategy is that we can't be labelling people. We can't be saying, what can you do with these kids, which is a favourite phrase.
The culture of physical violence means that boys are not ready to assume the humility they need to learn. Many of these boys, who, let me remind you, are not allowed to display vulnerability in any form at home, and have it imprinted on their DNA that prestige comes from being physical.